Hey everyone, Parallel here, and welcome back to Star Trek Online. We've got a new special event going on this weekend. It is the Kobayashi Maru event. This is the, quote, original no-win scenario, unquote. And this is one of these limited time events. It is only going to be running for a short period of time from June 29th through July 3rd. So it's one of these little short special weekend events. And to get the reward for this, you only need to run the queue 3 times, but there's a 20-hour cooldown. So basically you run it once for 3 days in a row, and you will be able to get the vouchers you need to complete the project and get the reward. And this looks really cool, so I'm very excited to check this out. I did actually try this queue out yesterday, the first day it came out, and it was quite laggy. So I ended up not using that footage, but there was a patch today, and I'm hearing that the lag is much better this time around. So I'm hoping we'll have a good run here, and I'll be able to show you how this queue actually works. All right, so first thing, let's take a look at the rewards here that we're going to be getting here. So if you pull up your reputation, there should be a new project in here. That's right, the Kobayashi Maru event rewards. And this is what we're going to get. So you need to collect 3 of the weekend vouchers, as I mentioned, and then you'll be able to complete this project. And you're going to get 2 things here, it looks like. This is an ultra rare weapon, so you get a phaser dual cannons, and it seems to have an interesting effect on it. If you actually take a look down in the tooltip here, it looks like a standard phaser, except you get the special stacking buff. So it applies a stack of amplified relays. Per stack, this weapon deals 1% increased damage, and then every 5 stacks gain 20% firing cycle haste for 8 seconds. Pretty interesting. Now I don't know how the stacks are gained. Is it some kind of a proc? Apply 1 stack of amplified relays. It doesn't really say if it's like a 2.5% proc chance on the stacks. So I'm very curious to check this out and see how quickly it stacks up. But it sounds pretty nice. The extra damage is decent, so it just seems like the longer you're in combat, you know, the more this will stack up. And for every 5 stacks, it gives you 20% firing cycle haste. But I wonder, does that reset the stacks once it gets to 5, or does it keep going? That's another question I have. So this, we'll have to definitely check this out. From the text here in the project, weapon that gets stronger the longer the skirmish lasts. That makes me think maybe it works like the Terran Warp Core, where just the longer you're in combat, it just keeps stacking up. But then if you drop out of combat, you probably will lose the stacks. That's how I'm guessing, but definitely we'll need to test this out once we have it. So it looks like you get this phaser dual cannons, then also a phaser beam array. So you can fit it into either a cannon or a beam build. They both seem to have the same buff ability there. Could actually be a very interesting weapon. Might well be worth upgrading and you know, gilding this out to get it up to Mark 14 epics. I'm thinking, sounds with the firing cycle haste there, sounds sort of like the advanced anti-proton from the Iconian rep, because it gets that firing cycle haste, but then it also gets the plus damage. So it's a pretty unique little weapon there. I would say definitely worth getting your hands on one of these, especially if you got a phaser build. Sounds like a very nice phaser. You can only equip one of these per ship, looks like, so it's sort of along that same vein of the advanced anti-proton or the the Terran disruptor type weapons. So you can only have one in your build, but it probably be well worth that slot. So I definitely recommend getting this. In fact, and the fact that it only takes 3 vouchers is pretty easy. You do have to log in right away though. By the time this video goes live, you're going to have to start really fast if you want to be able to get all 3 of your runs in before this event ends, because this is just one of these very limited time weekend things. So yeah, definitely jump in and get this. Now, I have run this once before, but I do want to do another run here and kind of share a few things that I've learned and a few tips. Now, basically, as you might guess, you're going to be trying to save the Kobayashi Maru, and this is sort of like the no-win scenario, or like the previous event with the Arena of Sompek, you know, that previous weekend event where you'll just face waves and waves of enemies, and then every certain number of waves, the enemies will start to scale up and get more difficult. And this queue also even has some like random modifiers that can occur. They call them affixes. So basically, there's an affix that will randomly occur on a wave where you will have to, you know, like some of your subsystems will go offline, or there's one that will like set your engines to like max velocity and make you fly around crazily. So it adds a little bit of spice there. So a few things you need to watch out for. But the thing is, the Kobayashi Maru is not just some little disabled freighter that kind of sits there. It flies all over the place. It is very difficult to protect. It seems to have a death wish. So the pilot of the Kobayashi Maru is, yeah, I don't know if he's just suicidal or crazy or what's going on, but he just, I don't know, maybe he was disappointed that the gravitic mine that he ran into didn't destroy the ship, and now he's trying to finish the job, but he just will fly around into groups of enemies and get himself killed almost instantly. It is a very weak ship that is very difficult to protect, so you will have to definitely manage enemy aggro and try to keep the enemies off of that ship. And one thing I also learned is that it's very, very difficult to heal the Kobayashi Maru. It has a very high sort of healing debuff on it. So, I mean, from some of the measurements I've seen on Reddit, they're saying it's like a 75% heal debuff. So it's very, very difficult to actually heal the Kobayashi Maru. So you're going to want to definitely try to protect it, get as much aggro as you can. Like an aggro tank would probably be good. And just having a lot of high DPS to take out the enemies fast before they can close in on the ship. So that, along those lines are how you're going to want to go. Now, I don't know if it's really worth it trying to build like a full-out healing type ship. You can heal the Kobayashi Maru. It just has such that huge debuff on it. It's not really worth it. It'd be very, very difficult to keep it healed up. Now, there is one thing I've heard, okay, so here's a tip here. That I've heard that this console right here, the Protomatter field projector, works really well. And I'm not actually sure why. I think maybe because the way this console works, when you give your buff to all the allies, it says it increases shield regeneration and hull regeneration. So maybe rather than acting as a heal from you onto the ship, it's just buffing that NPC's own native shield and hull regen. Maybe that's why it works so well. I haven't actually tried this yet, so I'm curious to see how well this console actually works. If you're wondering, you get this console from the previous anniversary ship, what is it? I'm blanking out. The science vessel. What is that? It is the Lucari. Yes, Lucari science vessel. So that was from the previous anniversary event. So if you completed that, you will have access to that console. Try to fit it into your build if possible. Now, like I said, you want to try to keep the enemies off of the Kobayashi Maru. That's probably the best way to keep it alive. But if it does get hurt, I'm going to try out this Protomatter console to see if it'll keep it alive. That being the case, the enemies do scale up very quickly. In my first run, I only made it to wave, I think it was 6 or 7, and already the enemies were getting quite difficult, and the Kobayashi Maru just went off and got like vaporized instantly by a wave of Undine that just came in and absolutely destroyed it. So you got to be really careful and try to keep the enemies off of it, which is why I'm going to go with more of a, I'm going to be using my cruiser build here. I also noticed that the enemies are also very scattered, so they're very spread out. They start actually fairly close to the Kobayashi Maru as well. They're not 20 kilometers away. They're usually right close to about 10 kilometers away. So I'm thinking, since they're all spread out, I'm going to go with a beam build this time around and go with a cruiser and be able to take some hits. So I will be going here in my Klingon flagship cruiser. This is the science variant. So I'll give this a try, see how it goes.
Time rewards have ended. You can still seek out artifacts.
Now, there are two choices when you queue up for this. Where is it? There is the standard version, which is like a 15-minute run, and there is the unlimited or untimed version, which I think is what most people run. This allows you to just continue to increase in waves until the Kobayashi Maru actually dies. So if you're going for an endurance run, this is the one you're going to want to do. Now, yeah, just as a note, in order to actually complete the queue and get the daily voucher reward, you need to make it past wave 3, I believe it is. Not super hard, but you will have to, yeah, like I said, you're just going to have to pay attention to the Kobayashi Maru and try to keep it alive, even for 3 waves. But after about wave 5, 6, it really starts to ramp up quickly, so be prepared for that. All right, so let's go ahead and queue up, and we will see how this goes. All right. So yeah, I'll show the build a little bit more here. Kind of the idea is that I'm going to definitely go into aggro stance and try to tank as much as I can and keep things off of the Kobayashi Maru. Healing does so little, it's really hard. I even tried putting the biomolecular shield up, you know, the reputation active ability, and unfortunately the Kobayashi Maru will just like fly right out of it. On this ship, I've also equipped a rally point marker, but again, I get the feeling it'll probably just fly right out of that, so I don't know how well that is going to work. But even if I can't, you know, directly heal or assist the Kobayashi Maru, I want to at least get to a point where I can, aggro tank as much as I can and keep the enemies off of it.
Welcome to the Gamma Hydra training facility. Today,
oh yeah, Gamma Hydra, that is where it was in Star Trek 2.
Starfleet training scenario, the Kobayashi Maru. In this exercise, you must protect the Kobayashi Maru as long as possible. You'll want to keep your teammates alive as well. The conflict will get harder as you progress, thanks to local hazards and attacks from enemy vessels.
Understood. So yes, there are some affixes, like I said, that will randomly occur that will make it more difficult. Let's go ahead and get an aggro stance here. If you look at the briefing, it will actually give you a little bit of a rundown of what some of the hazards are you will run into. That's actually really cool. That is an actual sample from Wrath of Khan Star Trek 2. They use the actual sample from the Kobayashi Maru simulation with with Savick, and that's fantastic. I thought that was really cool. All right, so let's. You can see he's already getting pretty hurt here, but let's get some aggro. Get these guys off of here. All right, so the nice thing is that it does have a marker on the Kobayashi Maru, so you can kind of keep track of them. I am going to try to stay close to him, at least within 3 kilometers, make sure I am tanking, getting aggro on anything within range. If he starts going down here, I am going to use my protomatter console here, and we'll see how well this actually does in the end. All right. That was wave 2.
Another wave is coming.
All right, wave 3 incoming. So we've got a little scale up here, enemy buff. Where are you going, Kobayashi Maru? You're flying away. He's trying to get himself killed again here. He is getting hurt. He's still holding about 90%. I'm not ready to pop it just yet because I get the feeling I'm going to need it here in the higher
Heads
waves.
up! Another wave is coming your way.
You can heal him, so I can do this. Undine are a problem. Oh my god, they're hurting me hard. Yeah, Undine got their annoying vortexes, gravity wells that they do. Yeah, in higher waves, Undine can take down the Kobayashi Maru so fast. Man, he's already way over there.
The next wave is incoming.
I don't want to be that far away from this guy.
Nanite infection fix is active.
Okay, Gemini for this wave. Some of the enemies are definitely much more of a threat. Whoa, okay, you definitely can heal him now. Yeah, it does a pretty good job. So there you go. The Proto-Mana field is healing him up nice and well. He was down to, you know, almost 50% there, and he can drop like a rock if you know, stuff comes into range. He can drop really fast. Alright, so let's see.
It's not over yet. Enemy assault incoming. Survive the onslaught.
Wave 6. Come on, yep. This is gonna be rough. Undine are a problem. Now this is a siege wave where you just gotta like survive for the time. And this was also bugged yesterday where it was just like lasting forever. Let's see if we can actually do this. Oh. I was watching the Kobayashi Maru Zelda and I wasn't watching my own. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. He's gonna get aggro now. Uh-oh. Come on, get back up.
Kobayashi Maru's health is at 50%.
Come on, get off him, get off him.
Get ready for another wave.
Whew. Come on, I still got 26 seconds left in this thing.
Kobayashi Maru's health is at 10%.
Oh, he's gone. God dang. Yep, I didn't have a cooldown on Proto-Matter field. Yep, so that's about as far as I made the first time too. It's really, really difficult to make it past that siege wave. Whoops. And yeah, whew, he was so hurt that we couldn't make it. But yeah, that was my fault for also dying. As soon as I died, you could see all the aggro went onto him. That was not good. That was definitely... I had my Miracle Worker up too. I should have used it. I was just not paying attention here. I was paying attention too much to his health and not my own. But yeah, so that's how it goes. But at least if you make it past Wave 3, you will get credit for the run. And you'll get your daily voucher. So let's, you do get your choice of marks, which is nice, and the competitive marks are in there. What should I get? I am going to get some fleet marks, actually. So there we go. You do get...
All right, everyone. This simulation is over. Here are your results.
Yep, so... Yeah, bonus dilithium. So you do actually, the farther you get in, more waves you complete, you will get more marks, and you eventually start getting bonus dilithium as well as sort of your reward for making it farther in. But for this one, I only got 35, so not super great, but at least enough to complete the daily event. And I could see it's going to be very, very difficult in any kind of a pickup group to make it far. If you really want to be able to make it through, you know, lots and lots of waves, you're going to have a coordinated group. You're all going to have to bring proto-matter generators and sort of alternate your cooldowns to keep the Kobayashi Maru alive. And even then, I could see it getting very difficult very quickly. But there you go. So there's the weekend voucher that you get. You get your R&D pack. I'm not quite sure why you get two, but you do. But there is the weekend voucher. And one really, really nice thing about this, let's head over here to the bank, is that these weekend vouchers are in fact account bound. So this is actually like the Arena of Sopek. This is one of the few events where the actual voucher itself is account bound. So you don't actually have to run the event on the same character. You can run it on all your other, you know, any character you want, any of your alts. Then you can come to your bank, and you can put it in the account bank. So there you go. So yesterday I actually ran this on a different character, and now this time I wanted to run my engineer. And so there you go, two vouchers, and you can trade the actual vouchers among characters, and you actually only need to complete the event project on one character as well, and it will unlock for your whole account. So all that being said, this is, I think, the preferred way. I really hope that Cryptic goes through and standardizes all of their events to match this type of a reward system, or this type of a voucher system. The voucher is account bound, the reward is an account unlock, and that is just really the best way to do it. I mean, so many different events. Some are, you know, specific to a character. Some of them, the voucher is specific to a character. Sometimes it's the reward is an account unlock. Sometimes the reward is a character unlock. It's very confusing, and it's different from event to event. I really hope Cryptic just takes this event style and just applies it to everything. Just all the events should always be account locks, and all the events should always have the account-wide vouchers. It's flat out the best way. It's just by far the most enjoyable, being able to do it on any character, adds variety. So it's nice. Hopefully Cryptic will consider doing that and making that standardized across the board for all events in the future. Definitely would be a very welcome change. But so there you go, guys. That is the event. It's you know, it's a pretty quick queue. You only need to make it past Wave 3 to get your rewards, so it's not too difficult, and it's fun. You know, it's fun just to see how far you can get. I am going to try a few more builds and see if I can get much past Wave 7. That's about as far as I made it last time, too. So it is a difficult event, and the enemies ramp up very, very quickly. So something you really should prepare for, but I think it's a lot of fun. It's fun to have a little bit of challenge. It's quick and easy. You only need to run it 3 times to get the reward. So yeah, no real complaints here. It's a very solid event. And it's a welcome diversion. I was actually expecting not much new content for a while, and this came out. So these little surprise weekend events like the Arena of Sopek and this one are sort of add some variety to the game. It's nice to have these little events pop up every now and then. It's kind of this was really a surprise, not really much of a forewarning about what this coming. So, and it's really cool. It's, you know, it's a throwback to Wrath of Khan, which is fantastic. Yeah, I think it's also kind of funny. I don't know if you saw the Kobayashi Maru. For some reason, it looks like a sort of a modified Miranda, which I thought was kind of odd, because in the movie, and you know, even the description of the event here, that actually says it is a freighter. And I'm pretty sure I remember in the movie as well, Savick would actually said, you know, bring up like a profile of the Kobayashi Maru, and it said it was like a class 3 freighter or something like that. My memory's a little bit foggy. I haven't watched the movie in a while, but I was expecting, like, you know, a typical freighter, like, you know, that rectangular freighter, like the pirate freighter you can summon in, that type of a ship, but it's actually like a kind of a customized Miranda. And
For a limited time,
yeah, it just likes to fly around and get itself killed. So yeah. Thank you, Mr. Frankie. So, yeah, what can I say? Fun little event, guys. I highly, highly recommend it. The rewards actually look decent. And, you know, hell, you log in for 3 days, have a little bit of fun in a sort of a gauntlet-type queue, and you're all set. You get your reward. All right, guys, so that is it. Have fun with your Kobayashi Maru. And, yeah, good luck out there. And that's all. Bye for now.